Hello, everyone. I'm Jack Fisher. Welcome to my world and welcome to my Twitch stream. This is a bit unscripted and unprompted, but I just felt like I had to do something. I didn't want to do some kind of scripted video. I didn't even want to do a Jack's quick reaction. I just wanted to get on stream right now and talk about the news surrounding San Diego Comic-Con. Now, I won't even beat around the bush. If you have a news feed at all, you probably already saw this news that came out from San Diego. We didn't just find out the future of Marvel Studios. We got a sneak peek of the Fantastic Four. We also got a sneak peek at Captain America, but that news essentially became a non-issue once it was announced that Avengers 4, formerly known as Avengers: The Kang Dynasty, was canceled and remade into a new movie called Avengers Doomsday with none other than Doctor Doom. And wouldn't you know it, the guy who's playing Doctor Doom, our old friend Robert Downey Jr. I seriously could not believe this news when I first saw it. It's one of those things where when I saw it, I'm like, seriously, is this real? Is this a troll? I'm like, but this was official. Once I saw that video that everyone was circulating that had Robert Downey Jr. stepping out in front of the crowd, ripping off the Doom mask and saying, hey, he's playing Doctor Doom. That was intense. I'm like, this is real. This is really happening. And there had been some rumors going back to about late last year that Robert Downey Jr. was considering reprising Iron Man, maybe for Secret Wars. That was the main rumor, that at some point he was going to at least maybe show up very, very briefly in Secret Wars to sort of just, be like the connection from the MCU's past and before it kind of, takes a big step into the future. Well, maybe those rumors were only a tiny bit true, because now we know this is happening. He's going to be Doctor Doom. Now, quick side note, I have actually been digging into this a bit, but the reason why I didn't do this stream immediately after the news dropped, because I wanted to take some time to process it and make sure that there was some more details. Apparently, I checked Variety, I've checked Entertainment Weekly, all the usuals, and this Doctor Doom that Robert Downey Jr. is playing, it's not a variation of Tony Stark. This isn't like, I don't know if someone remembers the infamous Iron Man comics that came out like 5 years ago or something, might have been longer than that, where Doom kind of became the new Iron Man for a while because Tony Stark was kind of like a disembodied computer program at the time. Long story, worth reading if you wanted to. But I will say that, it does say that this is not a version of Tony. This is Victor Von Doom. Now, the big question is, and another reason I'm doing this stream is this Victor Von Doom from the MCU, aka the Sacred Timeline? Or is this Victor Von Doom from another timeline? Because one of the other things, and I don't think this was a coincidence, that we got from San Diego Comic-Con, I'm going to see if I can bring it up on OBS here in just a sec, was we got some sneak peeks of the Fantastic Four launch. Now, Doom is actually not the main villain or the main antagonist of the Fantastic Four movie that's coming out next year with Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, and all those and all the cast that was previously announced. This version of the Fantastic Four, based on what we saw, and it's taking place in another universe. Like, it's not taking place in the MCU proper that we know, and so it appears to be some sort of alternate reality. It's being described as sort of some techno-futuristic version of a world. So maybe it's still supposed to take place in the 60s. So there's a chance that I'm looking for the footage right now, and I don't think I'm kind of hesitant to show it because all I have here are Well, I did find something with IGN. Just give me a sec. Well, they don't want to really show the footage. But here, let me bring up what I have here on. Here we go. So if you're looking at the screen right now, you see this is an article from IGN where it says the Fantastic Four. The movie is actually going to be called First Steps, which, it's the first family, first steps. It's their first kind of, entrance into the MCU. So that does kind of make sense. It is unique. So they're not going to try to, it's not like, I guess they're kind of maybe taking the Spider-Man Homecoming route with the Fantastic Four. And I think that works. So let me actually enlarge this article right here as much as I can. So based on what's going on here is this takes place, it's being set in this 1960s with a retro futuristic vibe. I mean, it's not just doing the 60s, it's like the future 1960s, where it's kind of like what people thought the future was going to be like in the 60s. So does this mean that it's sort of like another, is this another universe, another timeline? Is this something that is going to be, is this something that's going to set the stage for the Fantastic Four to maybe have to travel to the MCU? Because it does come off as sort of like this is a different world. This is very much a this is very much a world where perhaps the Fantastic Four are going to have to either escape or do something to save their world, because one of the other big reveals that happens, and actually I think it's mentioned in this same article, is down here. It's Galactus shows up. So there was a light display. We don't see Galactus in his full form. We see his eyes. But here's the thing. This Galactus is not a giant cloud like he was in the Rise of the Silver Surfer. This is OG Galactus. This is the Galactus we've known for years. So that's big, because I knew when they made Galactus a giant cloud in Rise of the Silver Surfer, like, this is not going to work. This is not going to age well. This is not going to resonate with fans. But yeah, the Galactus, the footage, again, I'm kind of hesitant to show any stills of the footage because I don't want my channel to get flagged, because I know how Disney is about leaks. They do not want any kind of leaks like that. So I'm just gonna, I'll keep it here on IGN. Maybe another channel will try to. I couldn't find any stills that I was willing to use. Again, I don't want to piss off the lawyers at Disney. I mean, that's like pissing off the IRS. That's a losing battle. But what I do know from reading this is the Fantastic Four we're getting here is it's very much more in the mold of the classic early Stan Lee, Jack Kirby era types of Fantastic Four. Now, the reason why I'm kind of focusing on them right now is because I think perhaps maybe this is where Doctor Doom will actually enter the picture. Perhaps this Fantastic Four movie, which is coming out next year, or actually around about a year from now, the Fantastic Four is going to maybe they will be the ones that first give us an introduction to Doctor Doom. They'll show even if he doesn't show up for very long, even if he's just a very minor presence, this could be sort of like they could tease Doom the same way that the first Avengers movie teased Thanos as a looming threat. Because one thing that Doctor Doom will always try to show up Reed Richards in everything he does, and if Reed Richards is going to try to save his unit world or the multiverse, you can expect Doom is going to try to one up him. There's no question that's what he wants to do. So I guess it's kind of it's going to be incumbent upon the Fantastic Four to kind of keep up with Doom. And I think one way or another, I think this movie is going to lead to sort of the multiverse being opened to both the Fantastic Four and to Doom, and Doom is going to use that to set the stage for Secret Wars. So I think maybe Doomsday is sort of like that. My theory right now is what in the efforts to fix the multiverse, in the efforts to fix, like, maybe there's going to be one final incursion, maybe someone from the MCU, maybe Bruce Banner will try, maybe another version of maybe Doctor Strange will likely try, and they're going to try to stop the final incursion. They want to try to preserve their universe, but and I can see Doom as sort of one who comes from another universe claiming he will save them, but it's going to come at a price. Doctor Doom is he's a lot of things. Altruistic is not one of them, and he always has an agenda. And I think it's very going to be much in the mold of Infinity War, in the sense that it ends with the creation of Battle World, aka that's basically how Secret Wars is set up. Battle World is basically like the fragments of numerous worlds, kind of like meshed and glued together to to try to keep everything intact. So one of the other things that came out during Comic-Con was the Russo brothers are going to be the ones directing Secret Wars, and that actually makes a lot of sense, for the simple fact that I think they've gone on record as saying they will direct another Marvel movie if it's something like Secret Wars. And you know what? That's totally understandable. Secret Wars is one of the most iconic Marvel crossover events of all time. Both, there was the 1985 version of Secret Wars, and then there's the one in 2015. But I do think the one in 2015 is probably going to be what the main reference material is going to be this time, because that story was much more focused on Doctor Doom than I think the first one was focused more on the Beyonder rather than Doctor Doom. And if they're going to make this more Doom centric, then it's definitely going to be the 2015 version. Now, in terms of now more than one person has kind of said, hey, I'm a little. Some people did not like this news, and I kind of get it to some degree. I do believe that some of this is kind of an overcorrection for what happened with Jonathan Majors and Kang. But here's the thing: even if Jonathan Majors didn't have the off-screen issues that he had, I still believe that the Kang Dynasty was going to have a muted reaction, simply because, and in hindsight, this probably seems obvious, but Quantumania did a huge disservice to Kang the Conqueror as a character, for the simple fact that Ant-Man was able to beat him. Ant-Man, along with Hank Pym and an army of ants, was able to defeat Kang the frickin' Conqueror. And if you followed Kang in the comics, you know that he would never just lose to Ant-Man. Kang is a threat so much bigger. Now, at the time, I still really liked Quantumania. I thought that was a fun movie. But I think making that the movie that introduced Kang, in hindsight, that was a mistake, because it essentially ensured that Kang was not going to have the same impact as any other villain. Once he was defeated by Ant-Man, once he was kind of just defeat, even if it was just a variant of him, then he was never going to be the villain that would be able to headline his own Avengers movie. And there are very, very few villains who could conceivably headline a movie of that caliber. Thanos is one of them, but Doctor Doom is by far the alpha and the omega of all Marvel villains. There is literally no one above him. This guy has literally become a capital G god in the Marvel universe at some point. That's actually happened. A big part of what happened in Secret Wars 2015. So you can't get much bigger than that. I don't see how you could get much bigger than maybe Onslaught down the line, but no, this is huge right here. And I think bringing Robert Downey Jr. into the mix, that also was kind of a kicker, because For one, Robert Downey Jr. he does have a good relationship with Marvel Studios. He also has a really good relationship with the Russo brothers. I don't know if they even considered someone else, or maybe if they just decided, what, we have to salvage the multiverse saga somewhere, so let's just pay however much money we can give Robert Downey Jr. and that'll be worth it in the long run. Now, I don't know if I'm not a accountant, but I do know that if you're going to put that much money into just one actor, that's going to be a considerable expense. And I can't imagine that the accountants at Disney are going to like what Robert Downey Jr. is going to charge, especially when you consider all the other actors who are going to probably be in the Secret Wars movie, especially if they manage to bring in like Hugh Jackman or Tobey Maguire again. Because, I mean, if you saw my quick react, I saw Deadpool and Wolverine, and I can attest that the audience responded very favorably to seeing Hugh Jackman in his full Wolverine attire. There's just no way. If Marvel Studios thinks that that's going to add to the box office, they're going to try to do it. And if it kind of maybe depends if Jackman still wants to do it or if they're going to pay him enough, but they are going to. They're really going to have to. This movie's definitely going to have to break a lot of records for it to turn a profit, but you can't. I got to say, if you're going to get anyone who could possibly have the same impact on the MCU as Iron Man had, Robert Downey Jr. is Doctor Doom. I don't see how that can be topped. I cannot think of how this could ever be, usurped in any way. It's just insane. But at the same time, the more I think about it, the more. Actually, let me enlarge this again. The more I think about Robert Downey Jr. playing Doctor Doom, I think the more sense it makes. Simply because. Doctor Doom is not just the kind of mustache twirling villain that we've gotten that we've gotten from so many others. He's not the high evolutionary. He's not Eric Killmonger either. Doom is very much a presence unto himself. He's always been an antagonist, but I don't think you could always say that he's a villain. I mean, Stan Lee himself has gone out of his way and said, Dr. Doom's not a villain. He wants to take over the world, but that's not a crime. And, add to this, if the world is so chaotic and so messed up, and, let's not lie to ourselves, the MCU is pretty chaotic and messed up. It has been ever since Endgame. So, and now that, they're, according to the teasers about Thunderbolts, and Captain America New World Order, they're going to finally address the giant celestial in the ocean that the Eternals dropped. So all this stuff, all this chaos, you think this is the kind of thing that Doctor Doom exploits. This is the kind of thing that Doctor Doom plots for and manipulates behind the scenes. Because he truly believes that he believes he's better than everyone else. And he's right. Doctor Doom he's not someone who's just pure ego, because he can back up his claims. He is smarter than pretty much everyone in the Marvel universe except for Reed Richards, and that does bother him. He's also the most capable. He's ruled his own country. He has gone toe to toe with some of Marvel's biggest hitters. He actually he's boxed the Hulk. He's taken a blow from Thanos' Infinity Gauntlet and survived. He has survived the end of the universe and then some, and it's insane how capable he is. But he always loses because he tends to get very petty. Doctor Doom he does have his fair share of flaws. Like, he will literally give up all his, the biggest victory possible just to show up Reed Richards. That has always been his Achilles heel. The fact that Reed Richards exists always is kind of the big hindrance that keeps Doom from achieving everything. Now, some of that isn't just because of Reed. It's just because he can't stand living in a world or in a universe where there's someone smarter than him. And throughout the history of the Fantastic Four comics, Reed has proven he is smarter than Doom. He is flat out. There have been a few stories where Reed has flat out outsmarted Doctor Doom in a way that he could not have foreseen, and it really does speak to, again, Doom, his ego, his kind of like pettiness, but here's the thing: at the same time, those minor flaws, you could see that if he could just set those aside, he could literally save the world. He could literally be the greatest hero in the multiverse if he kind of would get beyond some of these flaws. That's kind of what makes him a bit of a tragic character, because yeah, he is so capable. He definitely could take over the world and rule it better than any ruler ever has or ever will. But his ego just won't let him, and his pettiness won't let him either. So it actually kind of brings me to another little funny tidbit. One thing that I noticed while I was setting this up, I actually checked my YouTube channel, and back in 2021, I did a video using that was back when I had a really shitty microphone and a really bad software, where I made this video about why Doctor Doom is the best ruler in the Marvel Universe and possibly the best hero when you think about it. Now, I made the case that because he can rule Latveria with absolute impunity, and also his people love him, it stands to reason that, if and even the Panther God Bass backed him up on this, if Doom were to conquer the world, he would, the world that's the only world that would be free of want and suffering. And that's something that says that goes a long way with respect to establishing Doom's credibility, not just as a ruler, but just his capabilities. And when you look at the way the world is ruled now in the real world, and even in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you can tell so many of these conflicts are because the rulers are inept and greedy, or because no one is taking care of the villains. They have to rely on superheroes to take care of it. The very presence of villains in general is kind of just that's a failure on the part of the nations of the world. And if they keep failing, then why wouldn't you want someone like Doctor Doom to come in and say, okay, you either retire or I retire you. I'll take it from here. Step aside. Either get out of my way or face my wrath. That is Doctor Doom. And I imagine people would cheer him on, because one of the most pivotal comics that kind of showed Doom's origin, it's called Book of Doom. That in that story, when Doom actually led a revolt against the former ruler of Latveria, who was just a stereotypical corrupt baron, the people rallied behind him. I'm not just talking about elites or mercenary forces. Ordinary Latverian people literally just got behind Doom, and they fought alongside him, and they cheered him. And when he took over the country, famously, the people who were guarding the Baron just stepped aside. They didn't want to fight Doom. They had no desire to fight Doom. So they just let him, and Doom walked right up to the Baron and killed him with his bare hands. He didn't force someone else to do it. He did it himself, because Doom is a lot of things, but he is not a delegator. He wants to get something done. He's going to do it himself. And that proved just how capable he is and how far he is willing to go. And then when he became ruler of Latveria, the thing is, Doom came from poverty. He was not born rich. He was not born well-connected. He was born from a family of gypsies, and he knows what it's like to have absolutely nothing. And because of that, he rules his country so that even the poorest don't want for anything. And the people, they love their ruler. The only reason, this is another thing that was later revealed in the comics, the only reason his people ever revolt against him is because he made a deal with Mephisto at one point where he says, look, you can come try to get your mother's soul back from hell, but every time you fail, every time you are unable to succeed in any way, shape, or form, I'll make it so that your people hate you a little bit more. Doom accepted this. He accepted that deal, which usually, if anyone else accepted a deal with Mephisto, you knew that would be a problem. But you know, there's a lot of other stories that Doom has done where he's actually gotten the better of Mephisto, where it's just he finds a way around it. Even with Mephisto's influence, he always seems to find he finds a way to rule his country exceptionally well. And whenever he's gone, or whenever he's like deposed for whatever reason, Latveria is just not the same. The people don't like it, and they want their ruler back. So the love they all have of Doom, it stands to reason. If he can rule one country that well, why not the whole world? And for the MCU, with all these universes falling apart around them, possibly due to some of the shenanigans of the heroes, why wouldn't they want someone like him to take over? Someone who is basically he's Iron Man, he's Doctor Strange, he's Shang-Chi in terms of fighting skills. I mean, he's Captain America in terms of his physical abilities, and his suit of armor is insanely overpowered. Like even Iron Man's best armor does not match Doom's. I think one of the biggest things that Doom's armor has is it actually has a piece of the true cross on which Jesus Christ was crucified. And that's what protects him against like vampires. And he also has like the cosmic power siphon. And for those of you who don't know, this might actually come up in Avengers Doom War, or maybe even Secret Wars. That's what he used to steal the power of the Beyonder. And at one point, he stole the power cosmic from Galactus. So yeah, that is what Doom can do. Now, how he lost it, that's actually, I don't want to spoil that. There's a lot of comics dealing with that. But all you really need to know about Doom's capability is he does everything you wish a hero would do, and he does everything you wish a villain would do. And it's the idea of him now coming to the MCU. I know I've just kind of been gushing about Doom in the comics, but the Doom we in the MCU, he's the only one who can really sort of make Secret Wars work in terms of a spectacle. He's the only one who could create Battle World and make it so there's just it requires literally every hero from multiple universes to take him down. That's what required in the comics. It needed everyone from the Avengers, the Fantastic Four, the Guardians of the Galaxy, the X-Men, every cosmic hero, even some of the villains. Like Thanos had to help them out at one point, which didn't end well for Thanos, but that just gives you an idea. This is what it takes to beat Doom in Secret Wars, the comics. Now, just imagine what he's going to need to be victorious in both Doomsday and in Secret Wars. Now, another thing to keep in mind about Secret Wars is that with the way when it ended, Doctor Doom took on a very different role in Marvel Comics. So another thing that I'm curious about with respect to where this could lead is, like, however Secret Wars ends, what's going to happen with Doom? Is he going to continue in some form, or is there going to be like a new version of him that emerges? What is going to be the state of the MCU after Secret Wars? What kind of an environment is there going to be? Is this going to be sort of like a soft reboot? Is this going to is this going to be like a pick up the pieces and try to rebuild the world? And if that's the case, then would a version of Doom would we get another? Is Robert Downey Jr. going to continue playing Doom, or will be another version? It kind of depends. Now, let me actually bring something else up here. Let me minimize this for a bit. There's another rumor that I uncovered, and I can't verify this, but a lot of people are saying, well, why didn't you just recast Kang? How hard is it? Like, Kang is probably the easiest character to recast in all of fiction, and that's right. One of the reasons I've heard, and this is just a theory, is the way Jonathan Majors' contract was written when he signed on to play Kang the Conqueror. It was written in a way so that only he could play this character for whatever kind of timeline. I don't know if that's a normal contract, or if that's something that you don't know if that's, or how valid that is. But I do believe that if that's the case, if then even if they had a perfect actor to take over, they couldn't because of contract reasons. Now, knowing Disney, they probably would have ways of getting around a contract like that. But if it's between trying to salvage Kang and doing something like bring in a version of Doctor Doom that's going to excite the fans more, yeah, I kind of understand why they went this route. Simply for the fact that Kang was already tainted by Quantumania by losing to Ant-Man. And Loki, he did pretty well in season 2 of Loki. But yeah, Jonathan Majors is kind of just he's derailed that role. He's kind of derailed their plans, and I don't want to get too much into what was happening with Jonathan Majors off the screen, or what happened with his firing. So all I'm going to say about that is I just think Marvel knew they would have to. It would be an uphill battle to rebuild Kang, simply because they could not. You just can't get around the fact that Kang got beat by Ant-Man. I mean, I love Ant-Man, but beating Kang the Conqueror. I mean, if Quantumania had ended with Kang defeating Ant-Man and maybe trapping him, that would have certainly made recasting maybe a little easier. But as it stands, Kang just kind of came off as an underpowered villain who, if you can't beat Ant-Man, what hope do you have against the rest of the Avengers? Even a B Squad Avengers would probably be able to beat him. So I don't know. Maybe it'll be the case that after Secret Wars, maybe Kang will resurface in a new form, because they're going to need a new villain at some point besides Doom. And at some point, maybe they'll try to give Kang another shot. If they're going to bring mutants in, maybe they'll bring in someone like Onslaught or Apocalypse again. But it's hard to say. I know Cassandra Nova really stole the show in Deadpool and Wolverine, so it's not like that there aren't villains out there. But for Doctor Doom, yeah, this is really the Marvel's not just swinging for the fences here; they are going out of their way, and to essentially make everyone forget. Oh, hi Tevya Smolka, you're the first person to chat. Yeah, I agree. I do think that. If rumor has it the original ending of Quantumania was Kang defeating Ant-Man and trapping them all in the quantum realm, so they couldn't get out. And if that had been the ending, and that had allowed Kang sort of like the entry point he needed into the MCU, that would have definitely gone a long ways towards setting Kang up to be the next villain. But that's not what they did. Instead, they had Kang lose to Ant-Man. Ant-Man had a nice, happy ending. And yeah, if you would replace Kang with any other villain, it probably would have gone over a bit differently. And yeah, but no, for Onslaught, that's probably way down the line. I get the sense that they might be setting that up in X-Men 97, but because I heard it was actually, I think it was already confirmed that they were not allowed to use Cassandra Nova, even for when they did the Genosha story. And the whole reason they couldn't use Cassandra Nova was simply because they knew Cassandra Nova was going to be in Deadpool and Wolverine. They wanted to make sure that, that was everyone's introduction to her. So I guess maybe they'll be the same with Onslaught. We'll have to wait and see. But all I know is, this news with Doctor Doom, this is definitely going to get people excited about the next Avengers movie. This is definitely going to be, it's definitely going to get, Robert Downey Jr., he's definitely going to bring a presence to this movie that it would not have had with Jonathan Majors. So, what comes after that, who knows? But whether or not, Robert Downey Jr. wants to keep playing Doctor Doom after Secret Wars, we won't know. We've got 3 years between now and when Secret Wars comes out. So we'll have to, time will tell. We'll have to wait and see. But for now, Doom is coming. Doom is on his way. There's I just found this meme really funny, and I'm just going to maximize this. Yeah, this meme has been going around, and I think it's very, very appropriate. I know that's just, yeah, the Star Wars fans hate this, but yeah. Also, yeah, I think I do. All due respect, I did like Jonathan Majors when he was playing King. I thought he had a good feel for the character, but the fact that you can't get around the fact that he lost to Ant-Man, for crying out. He lost to Ant-Man. I mean, you can't be an A-list menacing villain and lose to Ant-Man. And no offense to Ant-Man, but that can't be your first appearance can't involve losing to Ant-Man. You just can't. So I'm sorry. I think Jonathan Majors, his off-screen antics aside, he deserved. I think Kang deserved better. That's probably I'll just say that without getting too, spicy in some of my takes. But yeah, well, guess what? Maybe Kang will be salvaged in the future, and maybe we'll get another chance to see another version of Kang after Secret Wars, or maybe we'll find something else. Maybe they'll set up a new villain. But for now, we have Doctor Doom to look forward to, and I have a feeling that Doctor Doom, even after he was absolutely done poorly in the other Fantastic Four movies, except for surprisingly the Roger Corman version. I mean, I don't know if anyone here is familiar with the Roger Corman version of the Fantastic Four that was never released. That actually had a version of Doctor Doom. I think it was played by Joseph Culp. Yeah, that version of Doctor Doom was spot on comic accurate, but again, that movie was never released. So I guess we'll have to. The other versions of Doom have been awful or just completely subpar. I mean, if they're going to use any version of Doom, I say go with the Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes version of Doom. That version of Doctor Doom was by far the best. Let me see if I can bring up video. Avengers Earth's Heroes Doom. Yeah, let me bring up let me bring this up real quick. Yeah, this is the version of Doom that Robert Downey Jr. should study. This is the version of Doctor Doom that... let me enlarge this. This version of Doom is from Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes. This is the one that... he was only in Earth's Mightiest Heroes for maybe just for 2 episodes. He showed up twice. But oh my God, he made every single moment count. Doctor Doom, in the first episode he showed up in, he took a punch from the Hulk. He beat up the Hulk. He took down Black Panther. He beat Captain America. He took down the entire Fantastic Four, and he didn't struggle doing it. He basically just said, "You're trespassing, leave." And they did, because they could not beat Doom. And this version of Doom, let me get this out of the way. Like this, if Marvel Studios models Robert Downey Jr.'s version of Doom on this, then it will be epic. It'll be epic in ways that will defy description. And I sincerely do hope that it pans out. I do sincerely hope that Robert Downey Jr., his star rises even more because of this. Maybe it's hoping for too much, but, well, he's coming. Doctor Doom is coming. And we'll see him in a couple years. Hopefully the world stays intact long enough for that. I'm certainly already excited about it. So, Tevya, thank you so much for joining the chat. I know I don't have a lot of followers right now, but I will try to do some more of these live streams in the future in hopes of if I can get some more, if I get some more guests and maybe get some more topics to talk about. But I just wanted to make this kind of short, sweet. I know it's only been over 40 minutes. Sorry, I lost track of time. But yeah, thank you all very much. Tevye, thank you so much for joining me in the chat. Everyone else who joined in, thank you for joining me in my world. Again, I will have more content in the works. I'll probably have a lot to say about the future of the MCU. I'll have a lot more to say about what's to come with the future of Marvel. And so yeah, please stay tuned. If you're ever interested in joining me in my on my live streams, you're always more than welcome. But thank you all very much. Thank you for joining me in my world. And until next time, everyone, take care and stay safe.